Congratulations, Ryan. I mean, you're talking there about adding the scoring to your game in terms of practicing a lot more in that aspect. But you mentioned you seem a bit gutted with the way you fell off in the last set.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that can slip into your game, even though you are capable of adding 10 points onto that average?
Absolutely. I've played for years and years at darts, and the scoring, the heavy scoring, like you look at the top players, they're all so consistent on that treble 20, and I've never really had that in my career, and I've been working hard to try and get that. If that's your weakness, you've got to work on it, haven't you, to try and get better, and that's what I've been doing. And in practice it feels so easy. I've really been playing well in practice on the scoring, and on that stage today I feel like I did not perform like I have been doing in practice. That's what I was talking about with the disappointment. But the disappointment didn't last long, because once you win the first round at Ali Pali, 95 hours is not too bad. I'm pleased with that, really. As long as you win the game, I think you've got another chance then to show what you really can do.
You sat here last year and you spoke about ensuring that 2025 you were going to try more, travel more, which we know you don't like doing, and focus on improving your game and see how far it can take you. Are you happy with how that's gone? And
yeah, when I sat here last year I was ranked in the mid-30s, and travelling to all those European tours has took us up to number 24. So I did do what I said I was going to do. I travelled all the European tours. I had some really good runs in them, and I feel like I'm a better player now sitting here than I was 12 months ago. So I think the future looks more promising than it did 12 months ago, so I'm happy.
And with all that combined, if you're able to bring in that scoring on the biggest stage of them all, can you compete with the elite and go on and start claiming major trophies?
Well, it's easy enough to sit here and say you hope you can compete with the top players, but until you actually go out there and prove it, I'm not going to say nothing. I can't predict the future. I can only try my best to prepare as well as possible and try and play well on the day. I wouldn't make any predictions about any future success or anything like that. I just don't know.
Thank you, best luck.
All right, thank you.
Ryan, well done on that win. As Will said, next up is Christopher Tysky or Alexis Toilo.
Yeah.
If it is Alexis Toilo, how would you prepare? Because we know he's a very slow player with the ghost throws, and he could be taking 60 seconds, 90 seconds just to throw 3 darts. How do you prepare differently for that?
I don't know. How do you prepare for that? I don't know. I've played over a lot of years now. I've played slow players, quick players. It doesn't seem to be any difference in my performance or averages against whatever pace, so I just tend not to worry about it and just not think about it. You just got more time in between your throw. Sometimes that can be a good thing, especially if you're under pressure. You can have some time to compose yourself and try and turn everything that you think might be potentially negative and try and turn it into a positive and think positively. That's the way I would think about that.
With just Motomu Sakai on stage, a real character, really.
Yeah,
real
I watched
favourite
it,
of the Ali Pali crowd. And you were talking about backstage.
Brilliant.
You've seen David Munya and his manager, also characters. Is that what the World Championship is about, especially in that first round? You know, last year we saw Rashad tweeting.
Yeah,
we don't normally see really making an impact.
I love it. I love watching. I'm not a big character on stage. It's not because that's my personality. It's because of the way I prepare for the game. I like to retreat into a shell and keep the concentration. Whereas other players, sometimes it helps them to release the energy. And I've tried it before. I'll admit I've tried to be like that. I've tried to give a big celebration. It never seems to work for me. I always seem to play worse after. So it's only what works for different players, but I love to watch the different characters on stage. I think it's really entertaining and it's great for the sport.
So what's Ryan Joyce like off the oche then? If I went out with Ryan Joyce, what do I expect?
Oh, I couldn't say that. I couldn't tell. No, well, why don't we try it one day? We'll go out for a drink.
Well then, Ryan, thanks very much.
Okay, thank you.
Hi Ryan, great to meet you by the way. Last year at Ali Pali you gave Luke Littler, in my opinion by a mile, the toughest game he had in the whole tournament.
Yeah.
And it was, as you said earlier, it was on you being so lethal and accurate on those doubles as well.
Yeah.
When you step up against like a top level player, do you have that extra big confidence in your mind, like knowing that is where you could get them?
Yeah, of course you do. You've got to take confidence in your strengths, otherwise what's the point? You know, that's where my confidence lies in the finishing, but I want to be confident in both aspects of the game eventually. I've tried for a long time and I'm trying to improve slowly and steadily, but it's really tough. Not everybody can be the world number one or the world champion. There's only one player can do it each year, and it's really tough. Everybody wants the same thing. Everybody's working just as hard as each other. It's one of them where you shouldn't take it to heart if you don't quite make it to the top. You can still have a fantastic career in a great sport without being the best player in the world, you know.
From like an average's point of view, do you think you are maybe, I mean, you said earlier like 5, maybe 10 extra points in the average.
Yeah.
Do you think you are only like that far away from perhaps getting to maybe a semi-final or even a final in a major?
Yeah, I think it's all on the day, darts, yeah. I know I can play brilliant. I know I can have a 115 average. I've done it many times before. It's just on the day. You should not worry about things like that. Just whatever happens will happen for a reason, and as long as you prepare well and you give yourself the best chance, if you lose you can say, well, I tried my best, you know.
This might sound a bit like a random question as well, but like lots of people will watch darts for the first time by sitting down watching the World Championship, and if you don't mind me saying, I think you've got one of the most unique darts techniques going. Can you just sort of like explain it? Because every time I watch it, I can't personally figure out how you do it. Can you just explain it?
I can explain it, yeah. I spent years and years practicing, and I analysed my strengths and weaknesses in the game, and I said, well, what can I do to try and change what's weak about my game? So I tried lots of different things, and eventually I got to the point where I said, if I hold the dart above me right eyebrow rather than throw from where I used to throw when I was younger, was below me eye, like most players do, I found that I was much better. I felt much more comfortable. So why not go with that? You know, I would never encourage anybody to change what feels good and natural and comfortable, because under pressure, if you try and change something, I've done it before many times in my career. I've tried to change something to try and get a little bit better, and it hasn't worked out, because under pressure you naturally go to what feels natural and what feels most comfortable. So for me, my throw might look a bit weird, my elbow's quite high and the dart's right above me on my forehead, but that's what feels most comfortable to me, so I'm not going to change that, am I? You know, especially not in a big TV game like that. Yeah.
Exactly. And finally, we've asked a few darts players this: if you do win that £1 million, what's the first thing you're doing?
I'll work out how much tax I've got to pay, probably. That would be the first thing. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really thought about it. I don't see the point in thinking about the future until it happens. Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, Ryan.
Thank you.